The bright studio lights of television lamps shone as Bruce Lee stood on the set of Pierre Berton's show in 1971. Opposite him sat martial arts champion Victor Moore, a man who had recently publicly claimed that Bruce Lee was nothing more than a flashy image without real substance. The cameras started rolling. Moore leaned forward with a smirk and said, "Mr. Lee, I've heard you strike faster than a camera can capture. That sounds like Hollywood magic to me." Bruce smiled calmly, never taking his eyes off Moore's face. "Would you like me to demonstrate?" he asked quietly. What happened over the next 60 seconds shocked the martial arts world and created footage so unbelievable that people still debate its authenticity today. Before we dive deeper into this incredible story, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss inspiring moments like this from history. Who was Bruce Lee? Bruce Lee wasn't just another martial artist trying to break into Hollywood. Born in San Francisco in 1940 and raised in Hong Kong, he spent his entire life refining the art of combat. By age 13, he was studying Wing Chun under the legendary master Ip Man. By 18, he had fought in more than a dozen street fights, learning lessons no training hall could teach. When Bruce returned to America in 1959, he brought with him a philosophy that would change martial arts forever. He didn't want to memorize traditional forms. He wanted to understand the science behind every movement, the psychology of every strike, and the split-second timing that separates masters from pretenders. The problem: disbelief in Hollywood. By 1971, Bruce had created his own martial art, Jeet Kune Do, the way of the intercepting fist. He opened schools in Seattle, Oakland, and Los Angeles, training major Hollywood stars like Steve McQueen and James Coburn. But one major problem followed him everywhere. No one believed his speed was real. Fight choreographers said he moved too fast for audiences to appreciate. Directors asked him to slow down because cameras couldn't properly capture his strikes. Traditional masters whispered that his techniques were just tricks, circus performances, not real combat. The challenge: the situation reached a boiling point during a martial arts demonstration in Long Beach, California. Bruce demonstrated his famous one-inch punch, sending a volunteer backward several feet with almost no visible windup. The crowd erupted in debate. "That's staged," someone shouted. "He cooperated," another voice added. Victor Moore, a respected karate champion, stood up. "Mr. Lee," he said loudly, "your demonstrations are impressive, but in a real fight, against someone who isn't cooperating, could you actually land these so-called invisible strikes?" The path to truth. The room fell silent. Bruce looked at Moore with calm intensity. "My friend," he said quietly, "martial arts are not about proving something to skeptics. They are about honest self-expression. But if you truly want to understand, I invite you to test it yourself." That invitation led to Bruce being invited onto Pierre Berton's popular Canadian show, where he would face Moore again, this time on camera and in front of a live audience. This time, he had to prove that his legendary speed wasn't editing or illusion. The stakes. The show's producers loved controversy. They promoted the episode as a clash between traditional martial arts and Bruce's revolutionary approach. Newspapers asked, can Bruce Lee really move faster than the human eye, or is it Hollywood magic? For Bruce, the stakes were enormous. It wasn't just his reputation. His young son Brandon was watching. Bruce often spoke about leading by example, about honesty and authenticity. If he failed, everything he taught about self-expression in martial arts could be questioned. And beyond that, he was fighting for something bigger. Asian actors in 1971 faced massive prejudice. Bruce wasn't just fighting for himself, but for every performer told they could only play stereotypes. The studio confrontation. On the day of filming, tension filled the studio. Victor Moore arrived first, wearing a traditional GI with a black belt, surrounded by students confident their teacher would expose Bruce Lee. Bruce entered in simple black pants and a Chinese shirt. The contrast was striking. Moore looked like a warrior ready for battle. Bruce looked like a man arriving for tea. But experts noticed the truth. His movements were efficient, his breathing controlled, his focus absolute. Pierre Berton got straight to the point. "Mr. Lee," many viewers asked, "are your techniques real or choreography?" "Mr. Moore, You've been especially critical. Explain your position. Moore nodded. In 20 years of training and 100 tournaments, I've never seen anything like this outside stage demonstrations. His claims seemed to contradict physics. The technical challenge. Bruce listened patiently. Mr. Moore, he replied, you are reasoning within tournament rules designed for safety. What I teach is combat mechanics. In real fighting, there are no forms, only the most direct and efficient response. Burton pressed further. But how can we be sure? If the strikes are too fast for cameras, isn't that convenient for deception? Bruce smiled. That's exactly why I'm here. Use your professional equipment. Film at normal speed, then review it. If the camera captures everything clearly, then I'm just an ordinary man using tricks. But if the motion is incomplete, then film it again with a high-speed camera. Let everyone decide whether physics is being broken or simply better understood. The moment of truth. Extra cameras were set up. A high-speed camera, rarely used on talk shows, was prepared. Before filming began, Burton asked one final question. Mr. Lee, if the demonstration fails, what will it mean to you? For a moment, Bruce hesitated, a rare human moment. He thought of his students, his son, his struggle in Hollywood. Mr. Burton, he said quietly, I've spent my life searching for the truth of combat. Not the kind that wins trophies, but the real truth of human potential. If I'm wrong, then I need to know that truth too. The studio fell silent. Even Moore was moved. This was no performer defending an act. This was a master willing to risk everything for honesty. Speed that challenged the camera. The lights were set. The cameras were ready. Victor Moore positioned himself carefully, watching for any trick. Bruce Lee stood relaxed. His right hand hung naturally at his side. To an untrained eye, he looked almost careless, like a man waiting for a bus, not preparing to unleash explosive power. Bruce faced the camera. I won't wind up. I won't give any signal that I'm starting the movement. I'll simply extend my fist as fast as I can, and instantly bring it back. Watch my shoulder, my hip, and my fist. If you clearly see all three elements at normal camera speed, then Mr. Moore wins this argument. The director called out. All cameras rolling. Standard speed, 24 frames per second. Action. Whenever you're ready, Mr. Lee. Bruce took one breath, just one, and moved. The impossible became visible. What happened next became one of the most analyzed moments in martial arts history. Bruce's right hand shot forward, turning into a faint blur, and instantly snapped back to its original position. The entire motion, extension and return, took less time than a single frame could clearly capture. Cut! The director shouted immediately, not because something went wrong, but because he was staring at the monitor, unable to believe what he had just seen, or rather, what he hadn't seen. Replay that, he ordered. On the studio monitors, everyone watched again. Bruce stands relaxed. One frame, a slight blur, and he's back in position. The strike itself, the full extension and transfer of power, was completely invisible at normal camera speed, beyond what the camera could capture. That's impossible. One cameraman whispered, we're shooting at 24 frames per second. That means one image every 0.04 seconds. His strike happened faster than that. Victor Moore stepped closer to the monitor. His expression shifted from skepticism to shock. Show it again, he demanded, his voice no longer mocking. They replayed it 5 times. Every time, the same result. Bruce standing. A flash of blur. Bruce standing again. High-speed camera test. All right, said Pierre Burton, barely maintaining composure. Let's film this with a high-speed camera. We need to see what's really happening. A high-speed camera was set up, capable of 120 frames per second, 5 times more detailed than normal. If there was any trick, it would be exposed now. Bruce took his position again. The atmosphere in the studio had completely changed. No more confident whispers from more supporters. The entire crew gathered around the monitors. Even Burton stepped away from his host's seat. High-speed camera rolling. Action. Bruce struck again. This time, those watching live could perceive slightly more. Not just a position change, but a sense of motion. Still unbelievably fast. The anatomy of the punch. The slow-motion replay revealed something extraordinary. Bruce's punch began with a nearly invisible weight shift, a subtle hip rotation generating momentum. That energy traveled through his body like a wave, activating muscles in perfect coordination. His arm extended not through brute force, but like the release of stored elastic energy. Like a whip, the fist moved in a perfectly straight line. No wasted motion, no telegraphing. Full extension occurred in about 0.05 seconds, faster than the average human blink. Then came the most shocking part. The retraction was even faster. His arm snapped back like a release spring. The physics of speed. One of the technicians, fascinated by physics, quickly made calculations. If the fist traveled about 60 centimeters in 0.05 seconds, that meant a speed of roughly 45 kilometers per hour, with the return even faster. He looked up, stunned. That's comparable to the speed of a striking cobra, achieved with pure human biomechanics. A changed mind. Victor Moore stood frozen, watching the slow-motion replay again and again. You could see the exact moment his worldview shifted. Everything he had been taught, visible wind-ups, preparation, chambered positions, Bruce had eliminated. All unnecessary movement was gone. Only pure efficiency remained. Moore tried to speak, but stumbled. Finally, honesty won. I was wrong. Legacy and philosophy. Bruce walked up to him and extended his hand. Mr. Moore, you were right to be skeptical. Skepticism is the path to truth. You pushed me to demonstrate clearly, leaving no room for doubt. That made both of us better today. Moore shook his hand, now with genuine respect in his eyes. Would you be willing to teach me how you develop this technique? My students deserve to learn from someone who understands movement at this level. Bruce then looked directly into the camera. The limits of what a human can achieve are not fixed. They are constantly redefined by those willing to question what others accept as impossible. Today, we measured one small example. Tomorrow, someone will surpass it. That is the true path, constant growth, constant searching, and honest expression of one's potential. The deeper lesson. This lesson goes far beyond martial arts. In business, science, and life, the principle is the same. What limits are you accepting simply because everyone else believes them? What if you approached problems the way Bruce did, questioning everything, testing in reality, and refusing to believe that impossible means anything more than no one has figured it out yet? If this story inspired you to challenge your own limits, subscribe and turn on notifications, and tell us in the comments,